Hey everybody, this is week 7 vlog. This is my presentation for public administration by Blanca Gonzalez, and I'm going to go over a few of our key terms that we learned this week that have to do with public administration. Okay, our first term was dichotomy, and the definition for dichotomy would pretty much be the differences between a relationship. So this is why I have a picture of the puzzles. I mean, they're both puzzle pieces, but as you can tell, they have differences, but they need to work together in order to form something bigger. A good example of a dichotomy would be a wife and a husband relationship. They're both, leaders. They both have a leadership role, but they have to work together to create a marriage. So for dichotomy in public administration, we would have to analyze the relationship between elected officials and their administrators. So the elected officials and the administrators, they have important jobs, but they do very different things. But they need each other in order to complete their daily tasks and complete the overall picture. Okay, federalism. What federalism means is, again, the relationship between the state government and the federal government, which is at the national level. Federalism is important for public administration because they need to work together in order to have that relationship work. States can't, make rules or have practices that intervene with the federal laws, because then it would become illegal for them to implement that. And then federalism, they also have to make their own laws and kind of stay separate from the state, because they need to give them their own room to grow and to become their own individual state and have their laws that meet the way that that state needs to be run. For example, Hawaii, who is mostly made out of islands, have a lot of different rules because they need to get a lot of stuff imported from the mainland, and their state rules might be different than someone in Nebraska who wouldn't have to get a bunch of stuff imported because you can drive there, and in Hawaii you can't. So that's how the national government kind of checks and balances its rules with the states. So it needs to give them room to be individuals, but it also needs to have an overall rules and parameters for each state to, fit into the national system. Right, so bureaucracy. Bureaucracy would be the group of the non-elected officials who work for the government. They are usually appointed by elected officials. So, the president would be somebody we elect. Whoever he decides to have in his cabinet, they would be the non-elected officials. So anybody we don't have to vote for that works for the government would be considered part of this group called the bureaucracy. Okay, so the bureaucracy is organizing a large number of people who need to work together in order for them to function. The thing about bureaucracy is, again, this is a big relationship. It seems like a lot of these key terms are kind of different types of relationships within each other. So bureaucracy would be a big one. it would be just a tree of people who have to work with one another and in order for the whole thing to work. Alright, so leadership. Leadership, what that means in public administration, it's really important because the leaders who are elected or people who have leadership positions have to implement decisions and kind of let others who work below them know what they have to do in their daily task and their everyday job. So leadership is really important. If you have a strong leadership, then everything just trickles down and kind of works better in these government organizations. Alright, decision making. So this is our last topic. Decision making is pretty much, what the leaders do. They often have to make decisions, and the way they do that is by selecting goals and objectives and kind of taking a step back, analyzing them, and then coming up with steps to achieve these goals. So these are the best ways to actually make decisions, to just kind of have it all planned out, weigh the pros and the cons, coming up with the necessary steps, writing them down, and then passing them over to your subordinates in order to have them achieve a certain goal. Alright, so this is going to be it for me. Hope you guys learned something today.